Hi, welcome to VYAPT Growth Series, a platform which promotes authentication of information and brings you the growth prospects of various business segments across the globe. Today, we are doing episode 11 of season 3. In our episode today, we have with us Mr. Sushil Virmani, MD of Best Power Equipments. Sushil is a veteran in the industry with over 3+ decades of exposure and has held various leadership positions in the top global companies in the past. In his current role, he is driving Best Power Equipment's ambition to prosper as a global player. Let's hear more from him. Join me to welcome Mr. Sushil Virmani. Namaskar, Sushil. Welcome to
Thank you.
VYAPT
It's my
Growth Series.
pleasure.
So we have
Thank you.
we have some curiosity today, and I'm sure you being of this industry, equipment industry. I'm sure having some great treat to our ears to hear from you. So I'll start with my first curiosity today,
Sure,
Sushil.
I'll do my best. Okay. Yeah.
So I'll have my first curiosity. What are the growth strategies that have been most effective in establishing a strong foothold in the electrical and electronics industry?
What are the? Can you just repeat because there's some proper? Can you repeat once again the question?
Sure, sure. My question is, what are the growth strategies that have been most effective in establishing a strong foothold in the electrical and electronics equipment industry?
Okay. Thanks for asking me in this show, and I'll try my best to answer your questions. So, on the growth strategy for the electrical and electronics, we all know from the data available, let's say from EMA, is the Indian Electrical and Electronics Manufacturer Association, that electrical and electronics industry is growing in double digit, around 13 to 15% plus, and that's a very substantial growth. And they have been, I'm seeing over the decade strategies, the growth potential changing pretty fast. I will say in the last 5 years or 10 years, and in the coming time, the digital push in India, e-commerce, FMCG segment, incentive policy by the government to manufacture in India, local for vocal, also encouraging industries to export the products outside and setting up export hubs, giving the facilities. I think they have been very significant push, and thanks to last 5 to 10 years of government push to ensure this thing. And today, if I see that electrical and electronics vertical as such is contributing approximately 1% to the GDP. This is very low. We all know that India is considered as a service country, but the manufacturing is contributing electronics just 1%, and it is 100 billion approximately. But the government push for next 10 years is to take this particular to 1 trillion. So a lot of things would be coming up. I think the way the infrastructure in India is growing, and we know that infrastructure requires a lot of investments in terms of cement, steel, and power is critical in all those manufacturing segments. And I will say that we are in the right time, in the right place, and the future is going to be pretty bright because I have seen the last many decades and what I see today, and that's how I'm able to share my opinion.
So that's a confident answer, Sushil, from your side, wherein you're looking at a bright future and you're going to see a time which has never been seen before, the kind of opportunity it brings. So, further to my
Absolutely.
last curiosity.
Coming back again, I'll say, okay, yeah. I like to say again that look at power companies stock. Look at a couple of names. I'll say Siemens, ABB. Why they are growing? Because they are expecting a huge order book in this segment, and because of the infrastructure, they are pushing very smartly into the power industry.
I'm sure you being a veteran from the industry, you have a great understanding around this particular industry. So my second curiosity is around from the first curiosity itself, which talks around the growth strategies. But around this growth, it also comes with a lot of sustainability, because look, at people, and not only people but businesses across as well as governments are looking at sustainable businesses. So how can we drive sustainable business growth? And are there any emerging trends or areas of focus which you foresee driving growth?
Some of the things I mentioned, that this is the right time, right place, and we have seen the success in the last few years, last one decade. I will say that the PLI scheme has worked well, but I think this needs to be encouraged to many sectors within electrical and electronics. Government should come out with making things easier for the industries to set up manufacturing base in India. And availability of power is one of the major thing. I think that should be done. So coming back to your question, that which is the best segment, I will say that data center is one thing which is really one of the major push what we see in terms of growth. Uh, Till a few years back, data center India industries were dependent upon outside India, but last many years with a change in the policy by the government, a lot of investments have been coming up in India, FDIs, FIIs, and they are seeing India as a data center capital of the world, and we see that a lot of investment and growth coming up in that. Apart from that, mobile manufacturing is another thing where India is going to export. So a lot of incentives being offered. Then I see that FMCG is one segment where manufacturing, because India is with the population, thanks to the population, the manufacturing in FMCG products is going to add another area of growth apart from infrastructure push by the government.
So you talked around that these areas primarily to do with power particular industry is going to grow, and there are a lot of sustainable measures which the industry is taking care of to ensure that the growth or the opportunity it has in the future is they are able to capitalize on this particular growth and opportunity. Uh, but looking at a diverse market you cater to, and you have been in power industry for quite some time now. Prior to this, best equipments as well, you have been in others in other companies. So, looking at the diverse market you cater to, how crucial do you consider the adaptation or localization of product? Because you talked around vocal for local in terms of generating further employment. And are there specific technological advancements that have significantly contributed to the success of electrical and electronics equipment industry? Here, I would like to specifically talk around one particular part, but it's not only about India. You look at the global leaders. Every global leader is talking about how jobs can be generated for their own country. If you look at US or UK or any other country, not only limiting to India. So how crucial
Yeah.
it becomes when it comes to generate employment in this particular industry?
We all know that Indian customers do not pay for the over-designed products. Pretty sure, and so it's a value for money.
Yeah.
That means that whatever products have been designed outside India last 15 years, 20 years, but what we see the trends in the last few years is that because the Indian market is of different kind, expectations are different kind. We always drive value for money. Therefore, optimization is necessary. Whatever we do that, and what I've seen that even the MNCs who used to bring the product from outside as it is, they have been understanding the requirement of the market and trying to design, revamp the products, and that's a really good, because it drives the prices down, makes the value better, and gives the right fit for the kind of application. So more such things coming up and design centers being set up in India, which is in the nascent stage now. I think this will not only will make the employment better and better, whereas India will be self-sufficient into the localization and the manufacturing scenario, and this will help to export also substantially. You know, our export is very limited as far as electrical electronics is concerned. Even though we have reached the fifth slot worldwide, but still a long way to go. I will say, in short, the design centers have to be set up. The skill of the people have to be more and more. That means a lot of coordination has to be done by the industries as well to improve the skill of the individuals, so that availability of skilled manpower is there. Because what I have seen earlier as well as even now also, we lack in terms of having a skilled manpower. We have to spend a lot of time to train them. If they are already readily available, where the government pushes, then I think the productivity will even be better.
So that gives us a quite insight around how the role of employment generation is directly linked with how skillful the people are and how they can
Absolutely.
be more value for the business. And you rightly talked around
Yeah.
this electrical and electronics equipment industry. So as we look forward, so let's say another 5 years from now, do we have any specific things which is coming up? Do you foresee any specific things from the technological advancements point of view, that this is something you feel that this can come up in another 4 5 years of time as we see the world progress for the next level of growth?
Look, as I mentioned earlier, that skilled employment is necessary. You know, we all know that 1% increase in employment from the current rate helps GDP going up by 0.6%. This is
True.
the data by the World Bank. Now, you know, technological advancement, definitely, you know, India is not far behind. There were days and years and decades when India was technologically 10 years, 15 years, 20 years behind. Today, the gap is hardly anything. I have seen in the last few years, whatever products are launched worldwide, they are available within less than 1 year in India. Now, for India to be self-sufficient and taking up the latest clue what is happening outside India and in other continents, I think there are a lot of quick designs changes are coming up, technological advancements are coming up, and I will again say that we need to invest. We all in the industry need to invest heavily into the design so that we compete and adopt to the technology. As far as power sector technological advancement is concerned, I think IoT is one of the big thing which is going to be the game changer. You know, everything what we see around will have IoT. You know, and digital platforms will be there. Anything is, be it industrial products, be it consumer products, even your automobiles. You know, all sectors will have IoT things coming up, and that is going to change the game. You know, remotely we should be able to access what is happening, and we should be able to understand what is happening inside the product. So all those things going to change the way the product is going to behave, and we are able to couple our systems with the products. We don't have to go to the site. Even from the remote, we can see what is happening really and take the corrective measures. This will definitely improve the productivity. But India has to still go up. And I'll say that for IoT, it's very important that India should invest heavily into semiconductor fabrication labs, displays, because those kind of products are used in IoT. We don't have to be dependent and import those products from outside, which we do normally today. So all these things are coupled up together. I would like to put it like that.
That's so wonderful hearing from you, Sushil, around different technological advancements which is going to come up in the later part of the decade. Um, we move on from our business talks to a flip round. A flip round is a special initiative from VYAPT Growth Series where the guest becomes host and the host becomes guest. You can ask me a question, has to be answered in 30 seconds from me.
Okay. I do have to ask questions.
Yeah. Yeah, Mr. Sushil, please go ahead.
Voice. Yeah, I could not hear you.
You're audible. Yeah, you're audible. Please go
I
ahead.
can't. Yeah. Okay. So I have to ask question from you, right? Okay.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
heard you
correct.
talking about it is series three, and so how many such programs? Has it? Have you done some analysis that how these programs has helped the industry and your organization per se? So I like to listen something from you.
Okay, so if I talk of VYAPT Growth Series, so we started this series way back during pandemic, and the idea was how we can promote authentication of information, and that's where today we are on in season 3 of Growth Series. So this is one particular platform wherein the leader talks about what's the actual going on, in the world or in the country or in the business which they represent. And here people can take the kind of growth prospects. People can learn from the leaders. People can understand what kind of innovation and technological transformations are coming up, as you rightly talked around that. Some of the companies, they are eyeing some bigger projects coming in. So I'm sure for those companies as well, there are a lot of people who are dependent on those companies, right? Directly or indirectly. So they get a clue around it, what is the kind of future it's going to be. So here it's all about how people can understand the different facets of business, and also what kind of things they can expect from business coming up in the future. So that's all about what we have been doing in VYAPT Growth Series, having brought in around 190 plus leaders across the globe on our platform. What we understand is that business is also changing. The dynamics of business are changing, and you rightly talked about gone are the days wherein one country used to be very very far away from other countries. Today, because of the technological advancements and because of the democratization of technology across the globe, today you can aim to become the best in the world, even if you are the smallest country of the world. Okay, so i
Right.
think i think this is what we have got lessons from the leaders appearing in VYAPT Growth Series.
Good. Thank you.
So after the flip round, I would like to go on our next round, which is learning on the go. So this we have a curiosity, which is the fourth curiosity for you. The curiosity is: can you narrate an incident that has been a source of incredible learning for you?
Oh, what a question. Anyway, I have to stretch my brain. Okay, there's one thing. Yeah, you asked the incident. Which has really a game changer in my thought process, and so I'm able to drive that instantaneously. During my early years of my career, I think when I was working in one of the German MNCs, um, I do remember very clearly there was a colleague, very smart, very dynamic, and from the one of the top institutes in India, young like me, and he worked on a project for a quite long period. I will say long in the sense that 3 to 6 months he was working on the project, and the company was an excellent brand, so he was sure of getting the order, but due to some reason, the order got lost. It was a in those days was a million of dollar order. In today's time, will be quite a lot. And I do remember when this announcement came, the order is gone or lost. The guy was crying in office, and he was inconsolable. Definitely, I still remember. And the head of the department, who was heading that very strong personality. I will not take the name. Uh, Still a good friend. He he when he learned, he came out, and he consoled him. He really told him, like, is part of the game. Happen, and we have to learn out of this. And I was really amazed because I was seeing the entire process for quite some time, and I think the empathy towards that employee had a very great influence on my thinking process, and it's very difficult incident for me to forget. Rightly, I've gone back 3 decades back when you asked me this question, and I think when we do business, win or loss are part of the life. We have to understand and we have to learn. So as I moved ahead in my career, I really practiced this because this incident was a game changer for me, and I learned to be very professional and polite, even in dealing many other situations. So I think thank you for asking this question. I've gone back 3 decades. Yeah.
Okay, so
So this had a
so
great
Mr. Sushil, you
impact
talked
on my thought.
about that wins are part of life, and one has to be empathetic to a project goes on well, an event goes on well.
And I can tell you one thing. This person, he retired from Accenture as their MD. So I can tell you, I can't take the name, but I can tell you that friend. So I still remember him very well.
That's so wonderful. That's so wonderful, Mr. Sushil. Um, Thank you so much for sharing that incidents. You talked about winning and losses are part of life, and let's be empathetic around it. And a lot of things which you shared with us, primarily from the business point of view, kind of growth and kind of technological advancements we can expect in this particular part of the industry. And thank you so much for being a part of the Up Growth series. It was really lovely to have you on our platform, Mr. Sushil.
Yeah. Thank you very much for asking the last question. It was really nice. Thank you. Bye bye.
Bye bye. Thank you so much.
Yeah.